Hope you're doing well. It stopped raining, so I'm doing another video where we expand more on security for places. But I decided to go into more unique spots while trying to preserve like the flow of the building. We're gonna start with like a basic one, which is hotel rooms. Hotels would for security would probably require like a security team on the premises. Which would honestly, I would like to focus entirely on the hotel. I wouldn't want them to spread out from the hotel for sake of security, because the rat race says that locks can get broken down, even though I would also vibe with having a unique lock system, which some hotels have. It would be ID cards. I would vibe with ID locks. I wouldn't even let there be a visible lock on the doorknob. I'd probably have the lock be connected to something we'll still have the typical frame for putting the bolt into the door, but we'll have the bolt extend from the wall from where the ID lock is at, and then it'll trigger it. Then they'll have some snip snaps happen where the bar gets pushed or pulled out the door, and then boom, that's how you get in and out. Probably would be something literally just the holes for the door would be still the same, and then I described it already. You guys can figure it out. You're smart. Anyway, anything else unique would I do for that? I would probably put security cameras at least outside of every room, pointing through the hallway at least, and also probably in front of rooms as well. I'd probably have a camera interfacing, not interfacing, being in the middle of every room where there's doors. I'd probably cheat to an extent and have rooms opposite to each other too, because then I could have a camera cover two rooms at once, two doors at once, so I just put them on different spots, different have a 360 camera. That'd be pretty based. That, and probably do the dystopian stuff again of electrifying doorknobs in the floors. And if necessary, I'll have the privilege to take away water and electricity from individual rooms, just to let people know you're getting kicked out. A bit dystopian, but it can be nice and mean. The niceness is mainly to the hotel staff, where I just turn off your power and water to make you admit it's time to leave. Maybe not the lights. Maybe I'll only turn off the water just to make you admit it's time to go. And then if you stay over an hour after that, then I turn off the electricity just to make you lose more privileges, to push you out even more. Is there anything else I would need to do? I don't think so. I think that's good enough. Now the woods are very eccentric, especially if it's a real hiking path. I would vibe first of all making all hiking paths very wide. I'd make them at least 10 feet wide. I'd probably as wide as that city street over there, actually. Why I say that is because basically a perfect city road for people to hike on would be nice for groups, for one, and for two, it'd be good for chasing people around on either horseback, which would probably be the ideal for the woods, or with off-road vehicles. Or maybe a mountain bike. Probably mountain bike would be really good if you have stairs and stuff. If you're going through an eccentric forest like Turtle Run in Indiana. That's a bit of an eccentric course where a mountain bike would probably be your best bet, or again a horse. You can figure out how to get to walk upstairs and down. Alright. Anyway. What else? What else would I do? Also, probably not gonna lie, if I had to do another one, what builds would I use that would be good for the forest? I like smoking them out. I like the idea of smoking them out. Fucking just smoking the woods with a tear gas mist throughout the whole woods. So I wouldn't have to feel as bad if I got to a point where most civilians would be gone, which is let's say when the sun goes down, because once you're in the woods at night, it's so awful. Most people that are smart know to leave woods, because there's no lights or anything. So once we get to 10 or 11 p.m., I could tear gas the woods to start smoking out criminals. Yeah, that sounds based. That sounds pretty based. I don't want to do something too crazy like burn the woods. That would be crazy, but tear gas in the woods might be nice. Let's see. Probably I want sniper towers for the forest too, even though I don't think it'll be as good. I really don't. It might be good for the highway at least, where I could put sniper towers around the highways or whatever when they're leaving the woods, and just hope we mark the vehicle they escape in, if we just figure out the criminals' identities first. Or at least mark suspicious people by putting cameras in the parking lot where people park their cars, limiting parking spaces to where it's only places with cameras, which is honestly very easy for most national parks. that shouldn't be hard with how they're structured, at least here at Kickapoo and Turtle Run, from what I know. With Turtle Run, we could also mandate a basic police station with that restaurant idea I have, because they have a restaurant near the fucking place with Turtle Run. That'd be a good spot for people to chill out at for cops if we just do what's there now. Or we could vibe with, I don't know, we vibe with doing Turtle Run itself. There is an office that's unused now, if I'm right, because they just, they made the park free at one point. So now it's just an empty room, which used to be like a border where like you had to pay a toll to enter the park. Now it's just empty. You could turn that into a basic guard station if you don't want to do the restaurant. Yeah, what else? I feel like that's about it for the wood build. I feel like the forest build is like settled to that unless we do something really eccentric, which would just be doing the fucking construction crew of terror, where we just vibe with like bulldozers bulldozing the woods down. Just brute force our way through the woods. If we're not going like fucking destroy the woods level, I don't think there's any builds to do, which I don't want to do anymore. I don't want to do a destroy the woods build to find a criminal. I don't think it's ever worth it. I like the woods enough. The only reason I consider it is it'll have to be a project where it's like in 2 months from now, we're supposed to tear down these woods to make farmland, and it's like, well, we could tear them down early to get rid of criminals. Otherwise, it's like, if it's not scheduled, I'm not going to tear down the woods. Alright. Anyway. Okay. Hospitals are a bit weird. Hospitals we have to worry about mainly for the security. I would vibe with motel security again to a major extent. But the problem is that we have to worry about when patients are too fragile, because they might like fucking have a disease, even though they might be the ones trying to be serial killers, because they're like antsy about not getting the right pudding cup or something because they have a bad disease in their colon or something. I don't know. So what would we do about criminals in a hospital, which I'm supposed to try not to kill? Well, with that in regard, we would probably vibe with using the hospital sedatives a lot. We'd probably vibe with using a sedative build, which already a lot of hospitals should have if they're real. Especially for stuff like putting them under for surgery. If that medicine is real, we will just vibe with abusing that the most. Just put them back in the room. And then probably do the classic hospital bed straps to keep you strapped in so you don't go out and kill someone again. You'll probably unfortunately use the privileges to like go to the bathroom at will and stuff. Probably have to put a catheter in you so you can still use the bathroom, which will suck to everyone. But that's what you get when you're still getting taken care of in a hospital but you decide to stab someone. Alright, are there any eccentric builds else otherwise? Movie theater could get an eccentric meme, which I just think is funny. For a movie theater, we will put the police behind the movie screen. Just so if a crime happens and we need to stop, we'll just like have a funny Hollywood cop moment where we just have the cops burst out from behind the movie screen to stop whatever's happening in the movie theater. I just think that's funny. To put cops behind one of the movie screens in the room behind it. And like maybe we'll just have them walk through the stage and not tear through the curtain, even though tearing through the curtain is so tempting. We can just have them just walk out from like a door off behind the curtain and just start arresting people in like the main lobby or something. That sounds based. What else? Anything else that's an eccentric build I need to discuss for security? I'm trying to decide. I can't think of anything that's eccentric enough. I suppose I should discuss the most potentially violent spots, which are places where people are allowed to be violent, which is the military. How do we cop ourselves when someone could have their own gun? Now, I'm not gonna lie, we should probably cheat in that regard, even though that could be a detriment. I think we should go dystopian on our own soldiers, and we should put like taser microchips in their like Kevlar uniforms or whatever. Or maybe have their guns do a Metal Gear Solid betrayal, where we hack their gun with like technology we put in like the casing of the gun. Maybe make it a bit bigger, to where we put like a betrayal button, where like we send a signal to the gun, betray him, and we have the gun become a taser. Where basically it tases him the entire time he holds it, because like guns are supposed to be metal, so we could vibe with making the whole gun electric, even though that might destroy the bullets. But when it's in the vibe of making sure that man can't betray you, at bare minimum making the guns betray him and do at least a self-destruct, if not become a self-taser, would be amazing. That'd probably be really good for security in place like a military place or anywhere we're like supposed to carry a gun. Making the guns betray them would be great. We'd probably do that with bulletproof vests too, which would be very mean. Bulletproof vests would probably be ideal if we put metal plates in them still, which I'm not sure we do. I think we do Kevlar threads only sometimes. But if they have a metal plate in them, we could put a taser in the metal on the metal plate so that it could shock their chest at least when they're trying to be dumbasses in the military. Alright, what else? Let's see. Betraying them with their own equipment actually works well enough for the military. The only other thing is that we could add to all of these scenarios, including the last video, automatically locking doors, which will lock behind the criminal when we need it to. And probably if they're like something like a hotel situation where they're like the violent one, but they stay at the hotel, we'll disable their ID key until they're free, until the police comes to arrest them. We'll probably disable it permanently so that they can't leave the room. Or if they do leave the room, they end up stuck in a hallway at least, which kind of bad, but not the worst thing ever if we have enough automatically locking doors. Alright, what else? What else do I need for my dystopia security system? That covers it for people that could kill me legally. So, that's about it for my ideal security system. Anything else I think of is just sad stuff, which I don't want because it could be triggered by other people too hard, and I'd want the government in control as much as possible. I somewhat don't like the security grid with guns even because I could be betrayed by a hacker. But I don't know. We just have to deal with that. That's like I have to do that security function. Otherwise, I have to do a function where I disable your gun by like throwing powder on you. That sounds like easier to do than trying to get a programmer to destroy the programming of a gun that I hacked to be a taser. I mean, to make a program to be a taser that tases the soldier when they're evil or something, or the cop. Basically, it's a big old security system betrays us, and we will tase them with their own gun system. Alright, what else? What else could I think of? I feel good with that, actually. That feels great. I'm trying to think of an eccentric situation we might need to do more in. I suppose if we have to deal with a car in my dystopian security system, we should vibe with just hacking their car to lock the brakes. Because all cars have a computer in the system, so we could, if the computer system controls enough, make it program the brakes to where they just lock in place to where they can't move. That would act as like an impromptu car brake on most things. That would be good enough to stop highway chases a lot of times. That'd be pretty great. Alright, anything else? Anything else? No, that about does it. I feel like automatic locking doors and all that, and stopping cars with brakes, which just like covers everything. That creates a decent enough security grid where let's vibe with the security guard system. Let's vibe with what security guards or cops would do to identify things if they were as a security guard pattern. Security guards pattern for if they have to solve something themselves instead of vibing with the automatic locking door society or something. Now, first of all, this mainly vibes with just having, first of all, a way to spot everything. And then we vibe with, after that, the typical adventure pattern. You have to go beat them up and solve the crime. But before then, this is really to detect the crime and then go stop the crime. Stopping the crime involves usual martial arts and shooting people. We will vibe with the security system to detect them on that. You guys can assume how they're going to beat you up once they detect you. So a security system for me, I would want a quick hand system first. Quick hand, I mean by that is I would walk in a room and I would want lights with like labels for each room that light represents. Like light will represent the mood of the room. Like for green, it's chill. No, it's blue is chill. Blue would be the chill room. Blue is chill. Blue means everything's normal, nothing's going wrong. We'll have to have AI try to recognize things, which based on how good AI is lately, they can probably vibe with identifying body movements at least. So if they identify movements such as there's a gun in the room or someone swinging a knife or their fist too hard, we'll immediately make it red for it's gone violent. We'll do yellow for greed. This will basically be the greed system admits that it's noticed that someone's stolen something that's in that room that's important. Isn't something that's like allowed to be taken away, like a bowl of candy in like a restaurant, which is like you're supposed to just take candy from the bowl. It's like someone stole a TV. Yellow for someone stole the TV. Go investigate that. Check the security feed. Figure out who stole the TV. And We'll do black for the room's been locked down for some reason, which means you should, like, if it's just like black for lockdown, it's been locked, the rooms are locked, the doors are locked. All right, which if it's black and it's flashing red once every couple seconds, that means there was violence in the room that was locked down. If it's blue, that might mean it's a calm room that's just the door's just locked, which means a lot of the time you won't bother with it if you shouldn't bother with it, your security guard. Black and blue will be fine. It's a calm room that's locked. All right. Red and black is for when it's a room that's had violence in it that's been locked in. All right. That means you should check on that eventually. Probably at least check the security footage and with that light to see if it's like immediate problem where there's like the fight's calmed down and there's like it's at least calmed down. Hopefully there isn't dead people. Is there anything else I need from that? Otherwise, I feel like theft and violence is enough to cope with that system. Like, I don't know if I want the system to identify anything else. Like, is there any other crimes I needed to identify besides theft and violence? I feel like that covers a lot for what like the average security system would need for stuff like that. Yeah, I feel like that'll about do it for quick can. After that, we just go to computer, which computer itself will be just like the thick book if it gives all the eccentric stuff we need for a security system. Like be able to rewind footage, go check multiple camera points. Just basically, that's where the Five Nights at Freddy's security system is at, where you ride with cameras and stuff. The lights are just for quick hands, so you can run off there if you want to immediately go solve it instead of studying the cameras first. All right. The computers will just have all the functions of like probably basic video functions like rewind, fast forward to the point where it's live, because there'll be live footage always if I get my world. And after that, it will also have multiple camera views on the same one. We'll do like freaking box views. We'll have like the screen cut into multiple boxes to show multiple cameras at the same time, so you can cross-reference the same timeline, but across different viewpoints. We're looking at the same screen for the most part. And yeah, that sounds pretty good for a security system. And that should about cover it for this video. I can't think of... Is there any other eccentric situations I can think of? I've targeted a lot with this. I can't think of anything. I can't think of anything else. Yeah, it sounds... Well, actually... I'm tempted to do chemical safety. Like, chemical safety to me is just being a firefighter and spraying water everywhere for the most part, and just like cooling everything down with water. Or like oxygen. So you just spray water and oxygen in the room. That's just a safety protocol for that. I feel like at least for the world security, we solved everything for the most part. At least giving good ideas. Doing chemical safety might be its whole own video if I want to restrain people on a chemical level with violence. Which honestly would require dystopia, where I do stuff like these flowers will have like a magnesium compound which will auto-destroy bullets and stuff when they drive around my town, which I don't know if we want to get that dystopian in America yet, where I'm auto-destroying your guns and stuff as you drive around in my town or whatever, or just live in my town long enough. Tempting, but I won't lie, with that system will probably be a big vibe of the longer you stay in my town, the more the chemistry of the town disables all your weapons and weird stuff that can poison someone and makes the stuff into like water or salt eventually. Yeah, I get the basic idea of what I'd want with that chemistry destroy everything system. I pretty much I feel like that ends the video here, guys. Sorry, viewer, has popped up at the end, but I already uploaded part 1 of this stream idea, and this is going to be part 2 of it. First video is like 10 minutes, so jump onto that to get the first part. Peace and love, guys.